Hello and welcome to this online training for VRM Online, brought to you by Pegasus Healthcare. As part of this training package, we will cover the following topics. We will look at starting a rental, we'll look at stopping a rental, we'll look at transfers between wards, we'll look at exchanges of equipment from your hospital to Pegasus Healthcare. They're the main functions within the ordering and e-commerce platform. In addition, we've also got additional information inside the system where you can look at reports, so we can view equipment on hire. We can also look at our product catalog range, and we can also look at some other information in terms of what's in the stores, and we've also got data about and product libraries that we are available to you. As we work through this online training together, what I'd recommend is that you'd have two windows open at any one point in time. The first window would have this training package in with the video playing. The second window, you would have your VRM Online login and you would work through this together. That means that we can work across the platforms, so you can play the video, you can stop the videos, you can try it yourself in the actual system, you can go back and rewind, you can fast forward, etc. So that you can really do this side by side. And we find that that really helps people to learn a bit quicker because it's a bit more hands-on as we work through this. One final thing before we begin the training, there will be a test at the end of this training module. It is relatively straightforward, we hope, and we can work through it together. And really it's just to enforce the learnings and just to check and make sure that everybody is on the same page with respect to the system and how it all works. If you do have any questions or you've got any concerns, please remember we're always available at Pegasus, either on our customer service helpline number on regular hours, or you can also check our website for more information. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin the course. The first thing that we'll look to do is we'll look to start a rental. Now, I have already logged in to the system using my username and password. Because you're now taking the online training course, you will have received your online username and your password, which will be unique to you. That will have come through from either your administrator or from Pegasus Healthcare. If you don't yet have that, please contact Pegasus and we'll look to get that to you. Okay, so like I say, I've logged in, I'm at the home page, and predominantly this will be where you come to when you first log in. So you can see all the user requirements and all the e-commerce platform elements there. So what we'll do is we'll start the rental. So just click on start a rental, and then you'll then be presented with the order screen for a new rental. Now, as you can see at the top of the screen, my hospital and my username is essentially there at the top. I'm Customer Consignment Hospital, and my ward is also pre-populated as well. Now, if you have multiple wards that you have been assigned to as your user, which you would have been done in the setup, you can click on the drop down and then you would have multiple choices there. Because I only have one ward associated with my user profile, then I only have the one that I can choose. The next section that we have to go through is then we need to look at a model selection. So simply click on here to choose the model. And as you can see, I'm now presented with a selection between air mattresses, cushions, bariatric equipment, static pressures, mattresses and home care. And in this demonstration for the consignment, what I'd like to show you is a rental for an air mattress, but essentially it's the equivalent for any of those selections. So if I click on air mattresses, you'll then be able to see the page loads with the selection of all the mattresses that are available for me. Now, in my case, because I am my user profile, I have access to all of the range within inside the Pegasus Healthcare product range. In your case, what we'll have done, we will have filtered it out so that there's only the relevant products that are available for you to see based on your user profile. Now what we also have, which we find very useful, is filters down the left hand side of the page, and now these are split up into equipment attributes and also patient attributes. In terms of the equipment attributes, we can talk about, well, whether it's a mattress overlay, is it a full mattress replacement, is it bariatric equipment. In terms of patient, we look at things like, for example, is there minimum repositioning required, is there deep wound healing, difficult to reposition, etc. Then we also have the Braden score and the Waterlow score for any assessments that you have done in the selection of the product. Finally, we also then look at some kind of empirical things such as mobility and other factors such as prevention of history of pressure injuries, or if they got high risk heel criterias. Okay, so let's use those filters now to narrow down our selection search. So what I'm looking for, I'm going to be looking for a full mattress replacement. Okay, and I know that now that the filter has come through, but I also know that I've done a Braden score and I've got between 14 to 18 on my Braden score. Okay, so I've now got two products that have been shown for me for selection. If I want and I need more information, what I can do, so for each of these I can check on the details. So if I, for example, click on details for the Bi-Wave Carer, then comes up with information around the equipment. So it gives me things such as risk assessment scores, my mobility, and any other factors with respect to my patient. And on the right hand side I've got some more information around the product itself, and you can also view any other literature around the mattress itself as well. So if I just click on the back button here, top right hand side, to go back, I can do a similar thing for the Airstream 2 as well, which is also the Nodec 2 Airstream. Again, similar kind of layout of the page with respect to the risk assessments, information about the criteria around the patient, and then further information on the right hand side. Click back again. Through my assessment, I know, for example, that I think that the Nodec 2 or the Airstream 2 is the most appropriate. So what I do is I press on the select button, and then from there that is then populated within my order data entry, the Pegasus Nodec 2 Airstream. You can see there. Okay, I now then put in some more information about my patient. This is in free text fields, and on the right hand side you can see where there are mandatory fields there highlighted with a red circle with the white exclamation. So in my case this is going into bed number 14. My patient name is Joe Bloggs, and my purchase order number, which I require in this case, is 480003 3614. My cost center is pre-populated. Again, that's associated with my user profile, and then we have some other fields that are not mandatory but we always find are helpful, so things like risk assessment scores and mobility scores, and the risk assessment date, and then in delivery notes, so it might be please come to reception prior to installation, for example, and then finally my required date. So I can change that with the calendar. I can say, well, actually I require it tomorrow, and it's populated in there. Okay, so I've now included all the information that I want about my order, so I click on the continue button. Okay, from here you can now see that I have all my order entry information completed on the left hand side, but as with most orders and most setups within most hospitals and healthcare organisations, an authorization for this is required. The authorization requires a contact person, a requesting nurse, and an authorizing person. The authorizing person is required to put in a password, their own unique password. So that may be, in your situation, it could be a NUM, it could be an administrator, whoever usually approves any orders that you place. What I want to do as well is I want to show you two scenarios. One where the authorizer is physically on the ward and can come to my computer and enter in their password. And I want to show you a second scenario where they are not available for whatever reason. They may not be on shift, they may be just away from their desk at that point in time, but I want to continue placing orders or doing other duties. We can actually put that into hold. Okay, so let's go ahead with the first scenario where the authorizing person, the NUM is on the ward and is available to put in their password. So what I'll do is I'll put the contact person and the requesting nurse as myself. So I just, from the pre-populated list, I select my name there. But the authorizing person then comes to my computer and then puts in their password. And once they've done that, they then hit the submit button and the order is now placed. What I can now see on my screen is that it's telling me, well, what my order number is and that the item is in store. Also highlighted is the fact that I'm then to print the report, which will have the information about the order, and take this down to the consignment room. So if I just hit the print button now, a separate screen will open up with a PDF file that's generated by the system. And on the PDF, there is several pieces of information on there for me to take. So I print this out and I can take this with me. So let's just walk through what's on the order request form. Obviously I would have printed this out as I said before, but there are 4 key steps on there that it's telling me to do in terms of the next steps. So one is telling me that the Nodec 2-cell cycle APAM is available, and it's also telling me the serial number, which is really important. So this is telling me my serial number is AS2 demo, and this is in the consignment room and it's waiting for my collection. So second step is collect this item, print and complete this document. So for you, the next step would be print this out and just read through the document as we are now. The third piece is then, which is important, is to take the document and down to the consignment room and attach it to the Pegasus clipboard located in the consignment area. So on the clipboard there will be all of similar printouts which are for all of the items that are currently out on consignment hire. Fourthly, logically, it then says to locate the equipment with serial number AS2 demo. Now this is really important to make sure that you have collected the equipment with the correct serial number. Every item in the consignment store will have a unique serial number for that item, and to make sure that we keep a good control of all of the inventory and make sure that you're charged the correct amount for each item that is on hire, it's really important that every item you take from the stock, the printout on this order form matches to the item that's in the consignment store. Just walk through the rest of the document, pretty simple and straightforward. We've got the customer information, we've got the contact information, we've got all the information about the product, the order details, so the order number, when it was created, any documents and any text that we originally put into the order, and it gives us our patient number as well. Again, for clarity, there's also the serial number for the piece of equipment to collect is also printed on the bottom of the paper. Okay, so back to the second scenario where the authorizing person isn't available at this point in time for whatever reason. And what we'll do now is we'll show you how to get the order processed through to completion. Okay, so again, what I'll do is I'll put in there the contact person and the requesting person as myself. So just choose those from the drop-down box again. And then in this case, where the authorizing person isn't available and can't put their password in, what I'll do as the nurse is I will hit the hold button, and that will then process the order into a holding status. Now what we can see now is we've got an ID number there of 7618, which is the unique number within VRM Online that's assigned to this order that is now on hold. At the same time as doing that, what's actually happened in the background is an email has been sent to my authorizing person to let them know that there is now an order that is on hold, so they have a notification that there is something for them to do in a workflow. So what I'll do now is I'll just hit the OK button. What that does is that then sends me back to the order entry. So now if I want to put more orders in, I can place more orders into the system. But also you'll notice now that there's a new element on the screen, and that's the new orders on hold awaiting authorization. So this is the order that I've just placed into the system. And what I can do is if I then hit the load button, what that does is then that retrieves the order back to the same point in time as when I put it on hold. Now let's play to the situation where the authorizer is now available. I've just hit load, this has come up, and then they come onto my computer and they then put in their password, and again, similar to the way that they'd done when they were available in the first scenario, they just hit submit and the order is placed. So from here on in, it's now identical to the first scenario. We would print off the consignment note, which has all the information and instructions, including the serial number for the item that's to be collected from the consignment store. So this is identical to the first scenario, and if you want to refresh on how to do that, just simply rewind back through the course and replay that section.